Really sweet moment last night. Michigan State senior night. They beat Northwestern inside the Breslin Center, final regular season game of the season. And afterward, Tom Izzo and his son, Steven Izzo, who's a fifth-year guard walk-on for Michigan State, did a post-game interview with Andy Katz. And I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But first, I want to tell you a story. And it's a story about July 2011, long time ago. Jeff Goodman worked with me at CBS Sports at the time, and he and I had sort of come up with an idea. I think he probably came up with it more so than I did, about, hey, what if one of us went and spent days on the road on the recruiting trail with like a high major coach at the tip top of the sport, and the other one went and spent time on the road with like a low major coach at the bottom of the sport. And then we could sort of write about it and tell these stories and contrast, like, yeah, these guys are all working in the same sport and all competing technically for the same national championship, but buddy, they're living in two different worlds. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't know if it's a great idea, but if you want to do it, let's do it. But I ain't slumming around with the low major coach. I'm going to be the high major coach guy. He said, fine. So start thinking about who do you want to spend 3 or 4 days with? And I didn't know Tom Izzo well at the time, but we did know each other, and I always found him enjoyable. And I said, you know what, maybe I'll just start there. And he agreed. And when I say we spent every minute together for 3 days, except for the minutes we were sleeping, I mean, that's what we did. We had breakfast together, lunch together, dinner together. We sat at basketball games together, private planes together, rental cars together, every minute of every day for like 3 straight days, except for when we were sleeping. The only times we weren't together when we would get to the elevator at the hotel, and it'd be like, all right, what time you want to meet in the lobby in the morning? 7:45? All right, Tom, see you at 7:45. We spent every minute of every day together. And after a while, you run out of basketball stuff to talk about. And after a while, it became pretty clear to me we were no longer a columnist and a basketball coach spending time together as much as we were two husbands and fathers living life on the road. And you just get to talking. And once you've heard the Fab Five story and how that recruitment went down, and once you've talked about winning that national championship with Mateen Cleaves, and once you've talked about every other basketball thing you can think to talk about, you end up in conversations about, hey, just tell me about your family. How many kids you got? And the conversations naturally turn more personal. And at some point, keep in mind, it's a long time ago. I don't have a transcript in front of me. But the way I remember it is that at some point we got to a point where Tom said, how do you think I would describe myself in one word? It's an interesting question. I don't know that I've been asked that too often. I said, oh, make sure I got it right. How would you describe you in one word? He said, that's right. I said, I don't know, successful. Clearly he was. National championship winning coach, Hall of Famer, the whole stuff. He said, no, that's not it. That's not what I would use. And then I just start more wrong guesses. I'm like, oh, I don't know, wealthy. He's like, ha, ha, ha. Nope, that's not what I would say either. I said, I don't know. I give up. You tell me. How would you describe yourself in one word? He said, conflicted. Conflicted. Interesting. Why? Tell me that. Because from my perspective, life's good for you. You got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, amazing job, incredibly gifted at your job, successful at your job. Life seems perfect from a distance. Conflicted. Why? I'll never forget this. And I don't think I understood it then. I completely understand it now. I didn't understand it then. He said, I'm conflicted every day, every hour of every day. I said, why? He said, I never feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, ever. There's never a moment where I feel like I'm in the right place. I'm constantly conflicted. He said, every minute I'm at the gym, watching film in my office, on the road recruiting, I have a nonstop feeling of, why am I not with my son? Why am I not with my wife? Why am I not with my kids? Every time I'm working, I feel like I should be somewhere else. He said, the problem is, if it was as simple as that, I could fix it, right? Just don't work as much. Just go be with my kids. Go be with my family. He said, the problem is that every time I'm with my kids, I feel like I should be at work. Every time I'm at the park, I remember him talking about little Steven, who would have been 11 at the time. I did the math on it. He said, if I'm just at the park and my son's swinging and I'm pushing him, I never feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. I feel like, why am I not watching film? God, I got a game against Michigan in 2 days. I'm constantly conflicted because I never feel like I'm in the right place. And that's a level of being uncomfortable that bothers me all the time. And I didn't write any of that down. I don't even think I recorded it. I don't remember conversations I have with people all the time. That has never left me. That there's this man that you look at from a distance and you go, seems like a great husband, great father, obviously successful in his career, but he's not at peace with himself because he feels like he's missing things, because he knows that he's not spending as much time with his family as he would like to or should. But the reason is because he feels like he needs to be constantly connected to this demanding job. And he's never quite able to find that balance. And so fast forward to last night. Here's this man who has already acknowledged privately to me, and I'm certain with other people as well, that he missed a lot of his oldest son, only son's childhood. And yet over the past 5 years, because his son has been a walk-on at Michigan State, they've gone from, going several days at a time without seeing each other, sometimes even weeks, to spending every day together over the past 5 years. And that all culminated with this sweet little moment last night in the post-game interview Andy Katz conducted. Let's watch it together.
You got the W, and you have your son right here, who in a few moments is going to be able to kiss the floor. You've been waiting 5 years for this, Steven.
Longer than that.
Your whole life. You've been waiting your whole life to stand on this court and kiss that floor. If you can, put into words what you are feeling at this exact moment.
I'm so thankful that he allowed me to walk on 5 years ago. And it's been the greatest decision that I've ever made. No matter how hard the lifts are or how long meetings go, it's all worth it at the end of the day. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do it with you.
Tom, you said that you missed a lot of his time as a child. The last 5 years, you've been with him every single day. What has this meant to you to be with your son these last 5 years and get that time back with him?
Well, I tell every man and woman out there that coaches a men's or women's sport, if you can have your son or daughter with you, there's nothing better. There's nothing better, man. We've all sacrificed a lot. A lot of coaches sacrifice more than I do. But getting some of that back, that means the world to me.
How about to Lupe and Raquel? What has this meant to the whole family to see the bond that the two of you have right now as a father and a son?
Well, I hope it means a lot to everybody, to be honest with you, because, we weren't great. We won a game. The people are happy. I'm happy for these guys. I'm going to just find a way to enjoy tonight, baby. I don't care how we played.
You won, Steven. Go kiss that floor. I want to bring in Malik here.
I mean, what's sweeter than that? And I'm confident that video resonates with everybody. Like, I don't know how you could watch that and not be moved on some level, particularly if you're a father. But me knowing how much that bothered Tom at a certain point in his life, that he felt like he was missing those types of moments, for him to be able to use his own words to get that back, just a really special thing. And so I hope Tom doesn't mind me sharing that story because it does come from a private conversation between two people. I trust that he won't because, however conflicted he must have felt one day, he seems to be at a really great place with all of that stuff now. And there were a lot of awesome highlights in college basketball last night. Richmond won a conference title. Houston won a conference title. Tennessee won a conference title. I don't think there was any better moment in college basketball last night than that one.